Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. You guys could do a couple of things for me. If you guys can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. And if you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone, I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Uh, Make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end. We're going to talk about a few things about how the SEC is going after Robinhood. We're going to talk about one of my favorite cryptocurrencies, Hbar, and possibly reasons why that the coin has been going down, and kind of a little bit of a small update on the XRP token with the Ripple versus the SEC case and where the trial is going to be going, if it is going to go to a trial or if there is going to be a settlement. But getting started today is going to be Tuesday, February 28th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrencies right now is $1,080,000,000,000. This is a 0.09% increase on the day. We did drop yesterday and then part of today. So if we look at our Bitcoin chart, because everything's following Bitcoin. So if you guys are new here, as of right now, everything basically follows Bitcoin. Um, as of 2 days ago, it was February 27th. We were at 23,400. We rose up to basically where we are right now, and then we had a dump back to 23,2, and then we rose back up to about 23,5, and then we took another dump. We did drop just below 23,000. We dropped to 22,9, just depending on what charts you look at. And if you zoom in on this chart, I'm sure you could find it. But we did drop to 22,9, and then we've slowly been increasing since. Um, like I said, we're going to be staying in the $23,000 to $25,000 range, in my opinion, up until March 14th, and that's when the CPI report comes out, and that's going to let us know where the economy is going. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $23,704. Ethereum is trading at $1,651. And XRP right now is trading at 38.07 cents. So a lot of the cryptocurrencies are partially in the green, partially in the red. It's about 50-50 split. So depending on which coins you have, you're going to be either positive or negative. The biggest gainers on the day is going to be Stacks as number one, 16.8%. AGIX is going to be 16%. And then CFX is going to be 10.1%. If you guys looked at the chart yesterday, the majority of the coins were red. Today, the majority of the coins are going to be in green, and we've just been fluctuating back and forth. So if you guys do want to trade cryptocurrencies, again, no financial advice. If a coin's in the green right now, I would avoid buying those coins. If a coin's in the red, if you want to swing trade it, if you guys know the coin and you know the project itself and you're confident in it, this could be an opportunity for you guys to make a little bit of money on the side. I don't like to trade cryptocurrencies and just like swing trade. Hopefully it goes up, 5%, make some money and then sell. I'm in cryptocurrency for the long run. Getting into our Watcher Guru news, we're going to start with the Bank of England says the digital pound, which is the CBDC for the Bank of England, presents a big opportunity. And we're going to talk about that here coming up. This was really interesting. Just over 20% of adults own crypto, and a majority see an update to the financial system. And in my opinion, I found the article for it. Coinbase took a survey, but they only interviewed 2,000 American adults, and they suggest out of that 2,000, 20% own crypto. And in my opinion, 2,000 people to do a survey isn't a lot. It's better than the typical 100 that a lot of surveys do. But in my opinion, there needed to be a bigger reach of individuals. But I do see an upside, especially if we only have roughly 20%. I think the number is a little bit lower than this, to be honest with you, because a lot of people who are in old money, who are older adults, don't actually own cryptocurrency. And it's just a few of the young individuals and then people who are in the financial markets as of right now, in my opinion, are the majority of the people who have cryptocurrency and see an upside with it. So I do see that this number is a little bit skewed. I do think it's less than 20%, but I could be wrong. Um, so if you guys think, it's more, put it in the comments. This was kind of interesting. The Dallas Fed respondent says that they expect a recession in the second half of 2023. And in my opinion, I kind of disagree. I think we've already been in a recession. Obviously, if you guys look at the textbook definition, we've been in a recession for quite some time now, but our federal government does not want to label it as a recession yet. And we've already been dropping in value. Our interest rates are rising. prices of goods are rising, wages aren't going up. You have minimum wage slightly increasing, but the average people who um, are at their jobs are seeing 0 to maybe a 2%, maybe a raise if you're lucky. But the price of goods and stuff have gone up astronomical, over, 40 to 50, even 60%. I've seen 200% in some cases. So obviously, we've already been in a recession. So this is just kind of hilarious that they're coming out and saying we could hit a recession. US or the UK banking regulator to implement new rules for holding and issuing crypto. Again, we'll talk about this here in a second. Coinbase has suspend Binance USD stablecoin trading, and in my opinion, I think this is kind of like a fight between the two. But there's getting a lot of heat right now. A lot of people are, not really trusting Binance right now. There's a lot of speculation and rumors right now that Binance was doing what FTX was doing and using consumer funds. In my opinion, I don't think that that was actually happening. I could be wrong though, but all the research that I've done suggests that I'm right and that that hasn't officially happened yet. But if news does break, I will talk more about it. Elon Musk retakes the number one spot as world's richest man. He's been going back and forth. Him and Jeff Bezos has kind of been playing tag. Who's it for the world's richest man? The SEC subpoenas Robinhood over cryptocurrency listings. And in my opinion, this is kind of finally they're going after some big fish, um, because they've already started to go after the small fries. They can use Kraken and all these other exchanges because Robinhood is considered an exchange. You can buy stocks, mainly is what Robinhood was focused on, but they did allow cryptocurrency. So now the SEC is finally using their precedent that they've started to set right now by suing these smaller exchanges who can't fight the good fight. And then Robinhood's going to come in and get sued, and then the SEC is going to say, listen, we've already settled with all of these, just settle, register with us, pay this massive fine, and we'll call it goods. We'll shake hands and you can go back to doing business. And in my opinion, that's not how the SEC should be doing their job. They're supposed to be helping businesses, and also protecting consumers, but as of right now they want to see innovation fail in the United States. Elon Musk reported recruiting team to develop OpenAI Chat GPT rival. This is kind of interesting. There's a lot of people in the AI space right now. This is one of those coins right here, these artificial intelligence coins. This is the reason why this coin is going up because it's still being talked about right now. Artificial intelligence is like the new talking term that people use, that are marketed for cryptocurrency. You had the metaverse with tokens like Sandbox and Solana, with like NFTs and stuff like that. Those are the coins that pumped a lot in the last run. You have your AI tokens right now that are pumping, and these new AI tokens that are coming out left and right. And in my opinion, they've already kind of maxed out what I think that they can do right now. Unless some new AI software comes out, basically a lot of individuals who had a lot of money that knew that this AI trend was going to be in got into those coins, and then they're slowly going to start selling their massive bags that they've been accumulating as the prices go up, and it's going to drop the price. So again, no financial advice, but that's a coin that or all coins in the AI space I would technically avoid right now. Ross Al Kim, he's a UAE to open the free zone dedicated to crypto companies. So basically, what right now, the UAE is just basically allowing a zone, an area for crypto companies to grow and develop in this area. They want businesses to thrive here in this region. And hopefully, the United States can figure this out because obviously, we want businesses here in the United States. We want technological advances. We had the huge .com era here in the US. The internet, everything else was just basically brought in solved here in the United States. And then now it looks like, the financial markets might be taken over by another country, and that would drastically impact the United States citizens. So Bank of England says a digital pound CBDC could protect consumers. So this is what I wanted to talk about because in regards to this, basically the Bank of England's coming out and saying, "Hey, don't worry, just trust us. Just trust us. We got you." And in my opinion, this is going to be a huge red flag when a bank says that, "Hey, we're going to protect you guys. You guys can talk with us." And there's a lot of speculation with the CBDCs on what they can actually do. If there can be a timer on when that token was basically issued and you are required to spend that token? Can they freeze that token, essentially? But it's no different than, in my opinion, having money in the bank account. You try to go to the bank to pull out some cash, and then the bank tells you, hey, come back in 3 to 5 business days. You're trying to pull out, $30,000. We don't keep that much money on site. 3 to 5 business days, and we'll get you your money. So, in my opinion, it's kind of the same thing with, them being able to freeze your accounts if they really wanted to. A bank and say, hey, sorry, you got nothing in your account, because all of it's, digitized right now as it is. It's all on a computer screen. But I think that crypto will allow us to have uh, more say in what we do with our money, because we can send the money wherever we want to in the world, based on the keys, and not have to rely on going to the bank or basically using a money transfer system. We have more control in a sense with cryptocurrency. This was a really interesting. Visa and MasterCard card paused launch of crypto products until market conditions and regulation improves. And this is just another example of how the SEC is definitely ruined innovation here in the United States. Obviously, Visa and MasterCard are these two big companies, especially in the financial system, and they're trying to basically use cryptocurrency and basically still stay at the top of the game, so they don't become like a blockbuster of the movie space for the financial systems when um, Redbox took over, and then now Redbox is basically, losing out because of Netflix. There's always that next best thing. Visa and MasterCard, in my opinion, could stay on the top if they continue this trend, but right now they're bowing down to the United States federal government and the SEC and their shenanigans. Bank of America expects Fed to raise interest rates to 6%. And in my opinion, I kind of agree with this. The interest rate's still going to keep on going up. They have not been able to curb inflation. It's sad to see, though, because a lot of people, especially like me, myself, want to buy a home, and interest rates are through the roof. Home prices are, 40% higher than what they were pre-COVID. They basically, the federal government gave a bunch of money to these individuals and who weren't working, and then they were able to go out and buy all these houses. That was part of the reason why prices went up. But a lot of these major big corporations and these big businesses were able to buy up or not all, because people were buying houses, but buy up a lot of the family owned housing and basically forcing people to rent in those areas, which, one, limited the supply of houses, and then two, forced people to rent. So I do see interest rates going up. Former FTX director of engineering pleads guilty to U.S. crime charges. That was really interesting. Coinbase lists euro-backed stablecoin Euro OC. So it's kind of funny that they got rid of Binance's stablecoin, but then they went to the euro stablecoin and allowed that one. President Biden says in his upcoming budget proposal will include higher taxes. Remember when they said, oh, don't worry, we're not going to increase taxes on the American public? They're not going to be taxing the rich like they say that they're going to. They're going to be taxing us even more, because we're sending money to another country right now fighting a war that we have no business being in. And we're going to show you guys a video of what happens with that here in a second. Former President Trump announces plan to end the dependence on China. I would highly recommend you guys watch this. He talks about how the United States has basically been relying on China for goods and services, and basically he has a plan right now to basically not rely on China, not rely on the businesses aspects out of there. It's kind of crazy how, if a company wants to, they can open up a manufacturing plant in another country, and in my opinion, use child labor and get away with that, but also to be able to manufacture the product, get it shipped, flown, or somehow get it brought to the United States, and then put it on a truck and then bring it to a destination while also paying import fees. It's cheaper to do that than it is to have that product made in the United States. Obviously, we want to employ Americans, but if businesses are able to do this, they're taking advantage of it, and are basically, we're allowing it to happen. Our federal government allows it to happen because they don't want businesses to flourish here in the United States. Um, this was kind of interesting. France's health authorities no longer recommend COVID-19 vaccine for the general public. This one was really interesting to me when I was reading it, because it's just showing that, COVID-19 is basically going away. They're adding all of these booster shots, but Gavin Newsom ends up uh, getting rid of emergency, not COVID party, COVID emergency. So, if you guys look at the news right here, it says marks the end of the COVID-19 state of emergency in California. And this happened today. So, it's kind of interesting. The state, out of any other country or any other state in the United States, California had the strictest uh, laws on record for the COVID-19. Um, Basically forcing people to stay inside their houses. If you worked at a job, you were no longer allowed to have access to the public. If you were a restaurant, you had to follow all of these different things, and people could basically only come in, pick up food, and then leave. And then finally, they opened up seating outside, but you had to follow strict guidelines. You had to get vaccinated to work, and they even started vaccinating children to force them to go to school. In my opinion, that's just wrong. It's sick. You have all of these things that are going on. These COVID vaccines are FDA certified for emergency use authorization, and there's not enough studies that have been done, in my opinion, to be able to put that on children. But we're going to keep on going. So when I was talking about how they're going to raise taxes, we're going to keep sending money to Ukraine, and this is going to be what's happening right now. So President uh, Biden met with President Zelensky. After the meeting, Zelensky had his little meeting and says right here that the U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters the same way we're sending our sons and daughters to war. And he said that they will die. So, like in this, if you want to listen, I'll put this in the comments. You guys can't hear anything. I still can't figure out how to do that. But he at the end he says that the U.S. is going to send their sons and daughters the same way that we're doing our sending our sons and daughters, and we're sending them to die. And in my opinion, that's completely wrong. There should be no American soldiers' lives that are lost fighting this fight that we have no business being in. China warns Elon Musk to stop promoting Wuhan COVID-19 lab leak conspiracy theory. I thought this was really interesting because, as it turns out, not just the energy department, but the FBI director says that they've known for quite some time that the COVID 19 most likely originated from a lab leak in Wuhan, China. So, in this right here, there's an interview. I'll post again everything that we talk about, every article that I show or tweet will be in the comments. And this video is 1 minute and 51 seconds. They talk with the director of the FBI. His name will come up. Christopher Wray. He's the FBI director, and he talks about we know that for quite some time that this was a possibility, and it just blows my mind that it was never shown sooner to the American public. This is like what I've been saying, that they keep on deflect, deny, and then at some point they're just getting caught up in all their bullshit, and then now the American public doesn't know what to believe anymore, and that's what really hurts the trust in our government right now. Brian Armstrong, he's the co-founder and CEO at Coinbase. He says it's time to update the financial systems. 80% of Americans think the global financial system unfairly favors powerful interests, and in my opinion, I kind of agree with this. If you want to get super rich, you have to have money, so money talks. 76 sorry 76% of crypto investors agreed that the cryptocurrency and blockchain are the future. And in my opinion, this number is probably a little bit higher, just because if you're invested in crypto, that's why you're invested in crypto. 67% of Americans agree that the financial system needs a major change or a complete overhaul. And I think this number is probably just a little bit less. And then 20% of Americans own crypto despite the turmoil events of 2022. Crypto ownership has remained unchanged since early 2022. In my opinion, I do see a massive upside to cryptocurrency, and I will continue to see that and continue to promote it as long as I believe in it. Again, no financial advice, but I do believe that this is going to change the financial markets. Um, we we've already talked about this already. This was kind of interesting because we talk about trust and faith, and basically a central bank digital currency. And in my opinion, could move into a social credit score if we're not careful enough and we give enough power to our federal government. So if you're on a blacklist of a social credit system, your face, name, ID, address will display on buses, subways, planes for everyone to see. Shame on you. And in this right here, it's showing these individuals right here of their social credit score. Now, I can't tell because I can't read this language, but if your face and everything is shown to everyone, like there's no right to privacy anymore. So this is really interesting and we have to avoid this. But these videos show that it's already happening throughout our world right now. It hasn't happened in the United States. We need to make sure that it doesn't happen. This one was really cool. So XRP Las Vegas is going to be happening in 2023. So May 5th and May 6th are the dates. I'm going to do my best to try to make this. So if you guys are going to be planning on coming out to this, put it in the comments. Maybe, I'll try to get a little group together in messages and we'll try to talk about, this. But I think this is going to be really fun and interesting. I got a buddy that's kind of interested right now in going with me to this, who's also invested in cryptocurrency. So if you guys are invested or you guys want to talk about this, put it in the comments and we'll figure something out. HBAR is a big unlock in March, according to Mason Versluis, and it actually happened today. This is super important to pay attention to. So a lot of these coins um, have big unlocks. It says March 1st, which just happened right now. So it technically, this video just changed from Tuesday to Wednesday, but unlock date is March 1st. 3,140,000,000 tokens are going to be unlocked. This is 6.28% of the total supply. This is $227 million worth of HBAR tokens. These are important dates. So if you guys actually own any cryptocurrencies, a lot of these cryptocurrencies um, basically have a store of value. A lot of individuals, when these coins are created, set aside a certain number of coins to sell for the future to allow these projects to continue to grow so they have a financial backing. And I don't think it's going to tank the price of HBAR that much. If we go ahead and look at HBAR right now, we'll see the price. 7 cents. We've had a small decline. We're right here. It's technically been unlocked. If it was going to be a massive dump, it would have happened right away. So just make sure you guys pay attention to that. This is why I think Elon Musk's became the world's richest person again. He ended up firing another rocket into space, and it had another satellite. So first Starlink V2 satellites reach orbit. In my opinion, I think Starlink's the one that's trying to give internet to everyone using satellites. And if this can happen, I do think that this is super important because people should have access to the internet. Nobody, especially even in third world countries, should go without the necessary resources and technological advances that we all are blessed with. So if you guys live in a country that you have a roof over your head, you guys have clean drinking water, you guys have a toilet, and you guys have a shower, you guys are blessed beyond belief, more than you guys know. So please take that into account and enjoy the little things in life. You don't need the brand new house, the big car, the most expensive car, the designer clothes, stuff like that, to be happy in life. You're more well off than most people, especially if you have good health. That's another thing that's super important, because I used to work at children's hospital, and some of those children, I worked on a hemonc unit, so kids with blood disorder and cancer. So on that unit, there were a lot of individuals who were diagnosed with cancer at a super young age. So if you guys are blessed with good health, take that into account and consideration, and give your thanks to where it should be given, and bless God. Moving on though, Jeremy Hogan talks right here. It says breaking, the SEC Gov has issued a subpoena to Robinhood. So we talked about this. Jeremy Hogan talks about this and says, looks like the SEC is pointing its next arrow at Robinhood. And it's kind of funny that, he says pointing its next arrow at Robinhood. If you guys get the joke, it's kind of corny. It's like one of those dad jokes. Uh, what is the sheriff after? I don't think Robinhood even has a staking program, does it? Robin has a lot of Ethereum, though, just saying. So something to pay attention to. Meta Lawman comes out and says there's an important crypto case brewing in the federal court in San Diego. Fred Z's of Holder Law has sued the SEC, asking the court to declare that Ether and Ethereum network are not securities. Here's what we need to know. The SEC has moved to dismiss the case. In its motion, the SEC makes a startling statement that Holds Law own allegation make clear that the SEC has not reached a final decision about the Ethereum network or Ether. Wait, what? That's astonishing. Gary Gensler has absurdly claimed that the 1946 Howey case about orange groves makes it abundantly clear which digital assets clarify as securities, but somehow the SEC has taken 8 years to analyze whether Ether is a security and still is officially undecided. Given the pattern that we have seen under the Gensler administration, Gary will let us all know when the SEC has made up its mind about Ether by suing everybody and issuing or trading Ether. This is not how the rule of law is supposed to work. 1,000 years of English common law requires citizens to be informed ahead of time of is prohibited. This concept traces back to the Magna Carta, but in Gary's world, he'll let you know when he's let you know, and that's with a lawsuit. Moving on, though, this week in Congress, there's a lot of cool things that are coming up. The crypto carpet bombing continues. There are a number of regulators involved in the crackdown, but now more prominent than the SEC, Gary Gensler's aggressive approach has caused several Democrats to vocally express concerns. Let's dive in. So, relentless, this is how best becomes described the current regulatory crackdown. It seems like almost every day that there is some sort of enforcement action, policy statements, proposing rulemaking, and notable speech. Many of these actions have vague language hinting that there are more to come. Everyone in the industry is reading the tea leaves, of which the actions see if and how it could affect their business. This exercise is exhausting and many times inconclusive in the terms of the industry or in finality. Many of the industries are now asking if they should domicile elsewhere. This is what regulation by enforcement looks like, and sadly, it is how it is becoming what it has been happening for quite some time. The intensity of the regulatory actions also has irked several folks in Congress, including many Democrats, which is an important thing to monitor. In a split Congress, legislators is always hard to get across the finish line. The party in power doesn't want to give wins to the opposition. At the same time, the party that doesn't control the presidency will always be on the attack to show the public that they would be better. It's rare for a party in control of an admin to receive flack from their own camp. However, Gensler's actions have received public and vocal criticism from a number of Democrats, and the list keeps growing as he pushes forward. This could be problematic for him in the future. Some recent examples is Senator Gilbert said 2 weeks ago, I have many concerns about Chair Gensler and his approach to crypto space. Senator Hick penned a letter to Gensler calling for a transparent notice and comment regulatory process rather than status quo. One of the most damning lines comes from the House Financial Services and Progressive Rep Ritchie, who bluntly said, my sense of Gensler is he strikes me as a politician pretending to be a regulator. There are others who hold the view in Congress but aren't as vocal. There are many more examples of the House, but in the Senate, Dems are important because they can also cripple Gensler politically if he doesn't have all the Dems in his camp. They can block Senate confirmation of potential SEC officers and future nominees of Gensler himself. Recall Gensler received an 88-6 vote for him in the 2009 nomination for the CFTC, and for the SEC in 2021, he received a margin of 53-45. While politics has gotten more partisan since 2009, the SEC has more polarizing role in its apparent favor in the Senate, and I'm not as strong as for him. The last time in to keep in consideration is the backlash from Democrats in the crypto actions. There is a whole host of other areas where Gensler and the SEC are always being aggressive. Each fight is a political cost. Congress has several unique ways to accomplish policy goals outside of passing legislation. To have this many Democrats publicly calling out their own is telling. Question is, how long is the aggressive approach and regulations going to go until they become a political liability? Moving on, though, Stuart Alderati comes out and says the chair Gensler has again proclaimed that every cryptocurrency except Bitcoin and an unregistered security. He must recuse himself for voting on any enforcement case that raises the issue since he prejudged that outcome. John Deaton says, brilliant move. It is fair to say that Ripple's general counselor wasn't always in-house counsel. Someone's tired of playing defense. And Jeremy Hogan says right here, Chair Gensler obviously speaking not as the head of the SEC, but in capacity of a long-distance runner and lover of orange juice. So it's okay. And this is kind of a slap in the face because this is what they talked about in the Hinman Free Pass speech. This is just showing that the library case is a super important and we need to keep an eye on it. We don't have a lot of time. So the last thing that we're going to talk about right here is Hedera. First they ignore us, then they laugh at us. Then they write uninformed, poorly researched, and fundamentally inaccurate articles about us. Then we win. And I 100% agree with this. Thank you guys for your guys' time. Look into the Hbar network. Don't listen to all of the people that are saying right now that the price is going to absolutely tank. Be on the lookout today for this. If you guys can't invest with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.